ओम शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। We are studying here Shankaracharya's commentary on Badarayana Vyasa's Shariraka Mimamsa Shastra, popularly known as Brahma Sutras, and we are interested only in the first four sutras, which is called Chatussutra. And all these days, we have gone through the Sambandha Bhashya, famously known as Adhyasa Bhashya, and last time we read the first sutra, which we shall read again. But we must recapitulate what we have seen. We have seen from the beginning, Acharya telling us that our life, our natural life, is based upon contradiction. Logically, it is not possible that consciousness will have any connection with matter. And when we utter the word I, we mean consciousness. When we utter the meaning you or it or they, it means some object. And logically, there cannot be any connection or superimposition. That means in place of I, we should see you, or in place of you, we should see I, or in place of the characteristics of you, we should see the characteristics of I, and in place of characteristics of I, we should see the characteristics of you. It is totally illogical, not possible by any logical means, and yet that is the fact of life. The fact of our natural life is like this, that we have coupled reality with unreality. We have coupled what is our real nature with what is not at all real. And as a result of this wrong knowledge, we are undergoing this life as contradiction in terms. And we saw in the beginning how Swami Vivekananda, basing upon this fact of life, has in 3 chapters of Maya in Jnana Yoga, has described gloriously how we are laboring under contradictions. And then Shankaracharya told us that this is what is called by the knowers of Brahman as avidya or wrong knowledge or culture of wrong knowledge, which is taking place for we do not know how many lives we have spent in that. And then he told in the next point that when we do any social relationship or even our pramana prameya vyavahar, that we know something through some means of knowledge, it is totally based upon assuming that we are laboring under this wrong knowledge. And not only that, our Vedic Karma Kanda, which tells us do this and do not do that, assumes that we are laboring under the wrong consciousness. Not only that, when the Vedanta tells us that this is the way to come out of it, it also assumes that we are working under the same wrong knowledge. And then to illustrate this, he has beautifully analyzed. Let us go through that portion again, which we studied last time, that unless we attach an identification of I or my on body, indriyas, or mind. We do not become the knower at all in the subject objections. And if we are not the knower, then the very tendency to know things does not come. So our normal knower known affairs in life is based upon our wrong knowledge. Unless we take hold of indriya, then pratyaksha praman or anuman praman or any praman does not work at all. And without the body, indriyas also cannot work. And unless we superimpose I-ness on this body or indriya, they cannot work. And if nothing of this is there, then Atman, which is asanga by nature, unattached by nature, cannot become a knower. And without that knowership, the pramana pravritti itself will not be there. So it is clear that all our formal behavior and also the Vedic injunctions apply to a person assuming that he is harboring under wrong knowledge. And then as an illustration, he says, is our behavior, is the behavior of great scholars different from that of animals? A cow will proceed. Suppose a man is standing with a stick raised, the cow will feel that it will hit me and she runs away. And if a man is standing with green grass, the cow will feel that he will feed me and she will go there. Is our behavior different? If we see a person with raised sword, cruel, anger in his eyes, we do run away from that. And if we see we are honored and invited and we rush towards that, what is the difference between the behavior of scholars and animals? And so we are sure that the animals are working without discrimination. Similarly, we are also working without discrimination. Now, the Vedic Karma Kanda assumes that we know ourselves to be transmigrating soul. Otherwise, nobody would go to the Vedas. If we are dying and everything is getting finished, then why we should not cut throats of others? Why we should not borrow money and drink ghee? Who objects? And that is what is happening in the world today, majority of mankind. Some or other gain your own ends because we do not believe that we will be born again. If we believe we will be born again, then only we come to the Vedas to learn what are the good works and what are the bad works. So there also, it is assumed that we have a wrong knowledge about ourselves. This transmigratory self is a wrong knowledge. We are not aware of our real nature at all. Till we know that real nature, we are always harboring under a wrong knowledge. Another illustration he gives that Vedas tell us Brahmin should do like this, Kshatriya should do like this. So all the differentiation is accepted, which is nothing but wrong knowledge. All the differentiation between man and woman is due to wrong knowledge, because the reality is one without a second. The consciousness is one without a second. So it is wrong knowledge that we do. Brahmin does this work or a brahmachari does like that. Always we go on talking like that. What is right for a brahmachari? What is right for a sannyasi? So this is all based upon wrong knowledge of differentiation. In this way, we are always superimposing I consciousness on body, mind, indriyas, etc. And we are superimposing their characteristics of I. When I say I will die, then we are superimposing their temporariness on I. So when it has started, no beginning, When it will end, not automatically ever. Only by knowledge we will know that we are not trapped in this. So this superimposition, which is of the nature of wrong experience, and mainly it generates, I am the doer and I am the experiencer. This is what it generates. And this is clear to everybody. And this is the root of all our problems. Last time I said that. All our problems, social, family problems, mental problems, financial problems, economic problems, political problems, all start from this point of superimposition, of wrong knowledge, of contradictory life. Every problem, human problem, starts from this point. And so, it is the root of all the unearthas or problems in our life. And the only way to remove wrong knowledge is to culture right knowledge. And it is for this culture of right knowledge that all the Upanishads have come into existence. And Shankar says, as we proceed, I will show everywhere that this is how the Upanishads are talking to us. With this introduction, we entered the sutras actually. And we read the first sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Atha, Ataha Brahma Jigyasa. Atha means now. We shall see when it is now. Atha means therefore. Brahma Jigyasa means Jigyasa. Shankar will tell us, is a verb denoting the keen desire, unstoppable keen desire, till we have realized our real nature, which is denoted by the word Brahma. It is not curiosity at all. Jnana does not mean curiosity. Jnana means that desire, unstoppable desire, till it gets fulfilled by realizing our own real nature, Brahma. Such a desire, then the missing verb in the sentence, because the sutra literature, should arise. Should arise when we are read Shankar's Adhyasa Bhashya. It should result in such a keen vyakulata, the intense desire to realize our own real nature, which will destroy all our problems. And when such has taken place, Atha means now. Now means when such a desire has taken place. Not only that, we are doing whatever we can to fulfill that desire. We shall see through Shankar Bhashya. But Atha means now. Now does not mean in old age. Now does not mean one fine morning. Now does not mean we have done enough karma, we are retired, so now. No. Now means when such a desire has come and we have started acting to fulfill that desire through Shamadama, Uparati, Vivek, Vairagya, etc. At that point, at the psychological moment, that is called now. Atha means therefore. Therefore means that Shankara just now shown that it is right knowledge only which will remove all our problems. So therefore, because right knowledge only can remove our wrong knowledge and remove all the problems of life, till then it cannot be removed, and therefore we have come to the Sharirika Mimamsa. And the very meaning of the root Brahma, Brahma means the greatest. Now for someone or somebody to be greatest, it is required that it has to be the cause of the world. It has to bring the world into existence. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya should come out of it. Then only it can be the greatest. And it starts like this. If it is to be greatest, it has to be beyond all of us. If it is to be greatest, it should be filling all of us. It should be in penetrating in all of us. Sarvavyapi, Sarvagata. And we should have come out of it. Otherwise, it cannot be the greatest if we are separate from him. And so, this is the meaning, the very literal meaning of the word Brahman through its root. And to realize this Brahman, which is obviously our real nature, that intense desire should be there. Obviously, it means the attempt to fulfill that desire should also be there. If the desire is there, we will struggle to fulfill it. So, this Adhyasa Bhashya should have brought us to that point where we get such a keen desire. Keen is a very poor word. Intense desire, unstoppable desire, till we realize ourselves, such a desire should be there, should arise, and every attempt should be made to realize that truth. Now, here, general translation I find everywhere is deliberation. I do not find that meaning coming out. Vichar, deliberation. No. Everything which will fulfill that desire should be done. That desire should be felt, and everything which will fulfill that desire will be done. So please remove that word deliberation. It will be analysis, no doubt, of, as Vyasa has told us, Shariraka Mimamsa, that means the reality within this body. Analytically, we will have to find it out with the help of Upanishad sentences that is there. But this analysis comes in a man only when the keen desire is there. When a sort of love for our reality is there, it is not simply an intellectual deliberation. Now, we will read the commentary. Shankara has said, Vedanta Mimamsa Shastrasya Vyachekhyasitasya Idam Adimam Sutram. This is the Adimam. That means the very beginning, the introductory sutra of that great treatise which I am going to comment upon, which I am going to explain. Vyachekhyasa, I explained. Kya represents knowledge. A represents knowledge from all sides. We represent spatially, or we represent experiential knowledge. Vyakhyana means the attempt to arouse that experiential knowledge in you. That is called Vyakhyana. And so, Vyakya. And so, Vyachekhyasa means attempt to do that. Vedanta Mimamsa Shastrasya. Madhuraya Vyas has called it Shariraka Mimamsa. Shankaracharya says Vedanta Mimamsa. Vedanta means Upanishads. So, Madhuraya has actually taken Upanishadic sentences to analyze, to find out their meaning, and that is a Shastra. What is the meaning of the word Shastra? In Sanskrit, we say Amoga Margadarshan. Unfailing, authoritative guidance, that is Shastra. Shastra, unfailing, authoritative guidance. Vedanta, about the absolute point of knowledge that we have discussed in the beginning. The climax of knowledge where the whole world is one, where the whole world is nothing but Brahman, where the whole world is nothing but consciousness, Satchit Ananda, where the world has nothing left as matter, the world nothing has left as I or you or he or she or it. That is called Vedanta. And the books dealing with Vedanta analyze analytically to find out their inner meaning. That is our scripture. And that scripture, Shankaracharya is going to explain or arouse that consciousness in us. And for that, he says, this is the introductory sutra. Now explain the meanings of the words. Atra, atha shabda, anantaryartha parigruhyate, na adhikarartha, brahma jigyasaya anadhikaryatvat. A little word should not confuse us. We usually use the word adhikar for fitness. And here Shankar says, it is not for adhikar. Here adhikar means after this. After, that means no external consideration. That is what Shankar wants to say. Adhikar means because I am a Brahmin, because I am a sannyasi, because I am a male or a female, no such thing. Because I have finished my karma, so I want to come to knowledge, no such thing. So adhikar is after I have achieved something, I want to achieve something, not in that sense. Anantaryartha, as I told just now, something has happened in me, and I have started acting on that. In continuation of that, I have come to Vedanta. That is how it happens. When a sadhaka first feels this urge, what he does everything which he understands will help that urge. He takes up discrimination, he takes up renunciation, he takes up to control his mind and body and have faith in the scriptures, and then such a person goes to a guru. So that is what he tries. But he simultaneously understands that by his own effort he is not going to reach there. He requires authoritative guidance from the scriptures as well as from a teacher. So that is called anantaryartha. Atha word here is taken in the sense of continuation of a struggle which has arisen in the personality of this other. Parigruhyate, we are accepting, or it has to be accepted that atha, atha now means in continuation with, na adhikarartha, not after something, not after some achievement we are going to next. No, not that. Brahma jigyasaya anadhikaryatva. So to get such a desire, we do not require to have done something. We have become sannyasins now, as was compulsory in the olden days. No, that does not give adhikar. We have finished work, work will never get finished. So it is not adhikarartha. This word should not confuse us. I am telling again and again. Normally we seek fitness to enter Vedanta, but here adhikar does not mean fitness. Adhikar means after we have done something. Shankar would say that the meaning is not after, meaning is in continuation with. Because he says this desire to know Brahman, desire to realize our own real nature does not require after something. Delicate difference is there, Shankar will show it clearly, a continuation of something. Now, he has to, because the word atha is there, so whatever different meanings of atha are there, he must consider amimamsa and show that this is not applicable, this is applicable. So, mangalasya cha vakyarthe samanvaya abhavat. Atha shabda is taken as auspicious. Just like doing before anything, we say Om. Similarly, Atha. Now, generally, when people start chanting or something, Atha Bhagavad Gita, Atha Prathamodhyaya, Atha Devi Bhagavatam. So, Atha is taken as auspicious something. He says if we take auspicious something, it does not fit in this sentence at all. Atha Atha Brahma Jidnyasa, in this sentence, if Atha is to be taken only as auspicious beginning, it does not fit in this sentence at all. And then another thing is there. Atha Shabda is auspicious only by the utterance and hearing. So when we say Athato, that is already accepted. Arthantara prayukta eva yatha shabda shrutya mangala prayojana bhavati. We should not lose the meaning of the word Atha. That is what Shankar wants to say. As soon as we utter the word Atha, that auspiciousness automatically takes place. That is the value of Atha. But if we take it only for that meaning, we are losing the other important meaning. So, Atha, Artha Antara Prayukta, used for expressing some other meaning. Evai Atha Shabda, Shrutya, by the very hearing, Mangala Prayojana Bhavati, is always for auspicious result. So, Atha should not be, it should not be taken as a formal beginning. That is what he wants to say. As soon as we utter the formal beginning is achieved, we should not lose the inner meaning of that. So what happens? Atha Shabda can have three different meanings. Atha means auspicious, Atha means after something, and Atha means in continuation with something. So he says Atha has to mean continuation because Vedanta does not require after something, and auspicious automatically it will happen. We should not lose the other meaning. So Purva Prakruta Apekshaya cha Palata Anantare Avyatireka. Another meaning people say that something is happening, it is expected that something is happening. In that sense also Atha is used. He said that is what we also want. You have said in continuation with something. You can say that something is happening, then they have the same meaning. If Atha means something is happening, then we accept that. Because we also are telling that Atha means in continuation something. Purva Prakruta Apekshaya. Purva means already something is happening, expecting that already something is happening. Phalata. In result, Anantare Avyatireka. It does not give a separate meaning than in continuation. Saticha Anantare Arthatve. Now, if it is accepted that it is in continuation with something, Yatha Dharma Jigyasa Purva Vruttam Veda Adhayanam Niyamena Apekshate Evam Brahma Jigyasa Api Yat Purva Vruttam Niyamena Apekshate Tad Vaktavyam Swadhyaya Anantarem to Samanam. Now we should remember this Badarayana Vyasa's Uttara Mimamsa, as this is called, came after Jaimini had written the Purva Mimamsa. So, differences from that Purva Mimamsa, similarities with that Purva Mimamsa will come into discussion because people's minds are already filled with that Purva Mimamsa. So he says, once it is accepted that it is in continuation with something, and that Jaimini starts with Athato Dharma Jigyasa. Now is the inquiry into what is virtue. That is how the Vedic Karma Kanda is introduced. So Shankar says, Dharma Jigyasa, it requires something. Purva Vruttam Veda Adhayanam Niyamena Apekshate. First you have to study the Vedas. Then the Karma Kanda will show you, you should apply this there, you should apply this there. This work will give you this result. Will come only after you have studied the Vedas. In that way, Brahma Jigyasa Api, the keen desire to know Brahman also, Purva Vruttam as a rule, what it expects, something is happening, that you have to tell. Swadhyaya Anantaryam to Swanam. You have read Vedas, it also requires reading the Vedas. That is common. So that common thing should not be brought in as the special continuation. If reading a book is common for doing karma, reading a book is common for desire to know Brahman, then that should not come into consideration. What is the special thing which we are doing, in continuation of which this keen desire comes? That should be treated. Nanu, iha, Brahma avbodha anantaryam vishesha. The word Brahman has several meanings. Here the Brahma word uses is karma, as denoted by the Vedas. And in some pathas, the word karma itself is there. Nanu ya Brahma avabodha or karma avabodha anantaryam vishesha. Nanu means doubt. The Shishya feels doubt that is it not that we should know about karma first? And in continuation of that knowing karma, we will come to know about the real nature of Brahman. Should we not take it like that? Nanu ya Brahma avabodha, consciousness about work, anantarya, vishesha. So while karma jigyasa was there, before that we knew only we are read the Vedas. Now here special something. Special something means we have started doing karma at least. Should we not take it to mean that we have started doing karma? We know fully about karma. Should we not understand that is in continuation with full knowledge of karma? No, not at all. Dharma jigyasaya prakapi. Adhita Vedantasya Brahma Jigyasa Upapatte. Suppose we have not read Vedic Karma Kanda at all. Suppose how many of us read Vedic Karma Kanda? So suppose we have not read Vedic Karma Kanda at all, or we do not know what is virtue or vice at all. But if we have studied Vedanta, if we have studied only the Upanishads, not the full Vedas, and there also we see that the keen desire is born. The unobstructed, irresistible, unstoppable desire to know our real nature is born only by studying Vedanta, without studying the Vedic Karma Kanda at all. That is the fact of life. So it should not be taken as first we should know karma and then we should know jnana. No, there is no such now and then. Atha does not mean after. It does not mean that first this and then that. Without, important point, without having studied the Karma Kanda or Big Vedas, if you have studied a little Vedanta, then the keen desire comes. Example, he gives an example from within Karma Kanda. Remember here, the orthodox people, that ahimsa in the sense of non-killing came only after Bhagavan Buddha came. Vedic Karma Kanda is full of hinsa. And Shankar is a past master, not that he is doing that hinsa, but he is past master in Vedas and Vedic Karma Kanda. So he is taking an example from cutting the animal in Karma Kanda. Yatha cha hridayadi avadhananam anantarya niyama kramasya vivakshitatvat na tata iya krama vivakshita. Suppose you are cutting an animal in Karma Kanda. Now here I will give you a little external knowledge. The difference between Hindus cutting an animal and the Muslims cutting an animal. If the Muslims have to offer something to their deity or Nirakar, whoever it is, they say halal. That means blood is impure. The flesh is not impure. So they give a small cut in the animal's body and drain out entire blood and then offer that animal. That is called halal. Hindus, on the other hand, believe that the animal should undergo least pain and say the cut in one cut. That is the difference. So, here is telling there is a krama. Hridayadi avadhananam anantarya niyama. First you should cut the heart. Then you cut this part, then you cut this part. This is karma kanda. Karma kanda requires an order of doing things. In the Kalpa Vedanga, it is not. So, avadhananam means cutting. Hridayadi, anantarya niyama. There is a name of this, then this, then this, then this. Like cutting the heart first. Kramasya vivakshitatvat. There is a expected order. Na tata ya krama vivakshita. Here no such krama is there that first you should do karma and then jnana. That krama is not there. That first you should do karma or know about karma and then you should come to knowledge. That karma is not there. Like within karma kanda, everything has to be done in a proper order. Otherwise, you will not get the result. You will get the opposite result. And so, as in karma kanda, there is an order always of doing things. Example, he says, first cut the heart and then the other parts. Like that, there is no kram that first you do karma and then you come to jnana. Shesha sheshitve adhikrita adhikareva pramana abhava. Now, different relations between karma kanda and jnana kanda is in people's mind. One is shesha sheshi, that means part and whole. They say that jnana kanda is a part of karma kanda. When we are doing any work like puja or anything, then we are told, hold a flower in your hand, meditate upon God, or meditation is over at that time. So, knowledge, or this is the nature of God. This is the nature of Ganapati, meditate on him. So, this knowledge of a deity or a Brahman is a part of karma kanda. That is what the people will say. He says, there is no praman for that. By what means have you come to know? There is no authority on that to tell that jnana is a part of karma. Adhikrita adhikari, we have already seen that first karma and then knowledge. There is no such authority on that. Pramana bhavat. Dharma brahma jigyasayo phala jigyasa vedat. Two more things. Dharma jigyasa, brahma jigyasa, phala vedat. The result of knowing what is virtue is to get punya and go to heaven. The result of knowing Brahman is to be free from all problems. So, the phala is totally different. And therefore, first karma and then jnana, such thing does not occur. Jigyasa vedat. And what is the thing to be known? There's some method of karma is to be known. And here, our very real nature is to be known. Phala vedat, the result is different. Dharma jigyasa phala is you will go to heaven. Brahma jigyasa phala you will get moksha. Phala is totally different. And the very nature of this thing to be known is different. In Dharma jigyasa, you are going to know what is good work. Here, what is you are going to know what is your own real nature. So categorically they are different. And so don't relate karma kanda to jnana kanda at all. Now he is telling what is the phala. Huh? He has stated and then explained. That is the method. It is called Sutra Bhashya Paddhati. First he states and then elucidates. Abhyudaya phalam dharma jnanam tatcha anusthana apeksham. Distinguishes now. What is the result of knowledge of virtue? Abhyudaya. You will have secular or worldly progress. Abhyuday is up to going to Brahmalok also is Abhyuday. Abhyuday is going to, for Indians, going to America is Abhyuday. Getting more money is Abhyuday. Getting more enjoyment is Abhyuday. If you do good work, you are going to get more enjoyment. And so, that is the result of this Dharma Jigyasa. To know what is virtue will result in worldly progress. Progress in the realm of enjoyment. Such anushtana apeksha, but there is one condition there. Only knowing will not help you. You will have to do that karma. You have known fully the methodology of a particular hour. That will not lead you to heaven. Anushtana apeksham, you will have to do that. It expects that you do that and then you will get the result. So now he's showing the difference between the two phalas. Here in Karma Kanda, it is phala is worldly progress, but it requires actual doing that. Nishresa phalam to Brahma Vijnanam. On the other hand, the result of Brahma realization is Nishresa, absolute kalyan, absolute auspiciousness, absolute freedom, absolute perfection, let us say. The result of Brahma Jigyasa is absolute perfection. That nacha anushtana antar apeksham, anushtana antar. That means if you listen properly, think about it, meditate on it, you will get the result. You don't have to do something else. In Vedic Karma Kanda, we are getting the theoretical knowledge of karma and then have to practice that karma at that proper time. Such other thing is not there here. By the very listening, you will get knowledge. We shall see later on. Or at the most, to remove your old thoughts, you will have to do manan. To remove your old sanskaras, bhoga sanskaras, you will have to meditate. As a result of that very hearing, other than listening, knowing the Vedanta, you will not have to enter into another work. So, the phala, nature of the phala and the process of getting the phala also are different. There, the phala is worldly progress and it comes after you have done that work. Here, the phala is absolute perfection and it does not require something else to be done. Now, about the jigyasa, about what we are going to know. Bhavyacha dharma jigyasa na jnanakale asti purusha vyapara tantratvat. Bhavya means future. Dharma, jigyasa. There you are going to know that virtue which you will practice in future. When you are listening, you are not practicing. When you are listening, then you will practice. So it is a future something. Na jnanakale asti. By knowing, you are not performing. Purusha vyapara tantratvat. So after that, it depends upon whether you do it or not. We have heard fully, we know fully well that this is virtue or this is a good karma leading to heaven. But we may do that. We may do in a different way. We may not do that. So unless we do that in the way prescribed, we are not going to get the result. So jigyasa, what is to be known is something about future and depends upon our doing it. Purusha vyapara tantratvat. Tantra means dependence. Purusha vyapara tantra means depending upon man's work. Tantratvat, Panchami means the hetu. If you do that, then you will get that. That is Tantratva. Clear all the words? Bhavyacha dharma jigyasa. Future virtue is the thing to be known. Na jnanakale asti. It does not come into existence simultaneously with your knowledge. Purusha Vyapara Tantratvat. It depends upon your personal effort. Here to contrast. Bhutam Brahma Jigyasa. Brahman is not to be created by you. Brahman is not that you have to arrange food and do something. It is already existing. That is a great difference. That is your real nature. It has already always existed. It is not something new at all. Yatu Bhutam Brahma Jigyasam. Here in this matter, the Brahman which already exists, we do not know it. We do not know its real nature. We have no experience of it, but it already exists. Nityatvat, it is permanent, unchangingly permanent. Brahman does not only exist, it is unchangingly permanent. And that we want to know. That we want to know the real nature of. That we want to realize. That we want to experience. Na Purusha Vyapara Tantram. It does not depend upon our doing something. Our realization does not depend upon our doing something. Listening, it goes to the heart. It changes our mind. It makes us meditate. It does not depend upon what we do. The real nature of a thing does not depend upon what we do. The real nature is always that, permanently that. The characteristics of water is cooling. Even if you heat, the characteristics will remain cooling. You do not have to do something to make water cool. Outside temperature you may reduce, but the cooling effect will automatically come. And small example I give. So, it is a real nature, not dependent upon your doing something. It is permanent, unchangingly permanent, already existing. That Brahman is to be inquired into. That Brahman is being attempted to be realized. That Brahman, our own real nature, the creator of the world's real nature, is being attempted through that intense desire to be realized. It does not depend upon what we do. What we do will not change the nature of Brahman. We may go to hell, it will not change the nature of Brahman. We may go to heaven, it will not change the nature of Brahman. Already I have told that the superimposition does not change the thing on which it is superimposed. In a desert we see water, but it does not make the sand moist. So, Brahman real nature is already existing, unchangingly permanent, not depend upon what we do or not do. So much difference between karma and jnana. Chodana pravritti bhedacha, one more point. Chodana means Veda Vakyas. Veda Vakyas prompt us to do something, that is called Chodana. Chodana pravritti, that means Veda Vakyas produce a tendency, that is called Chodana pravritti. Veda, they are different in these two matters. Vedic Vakyas goading us to do karma and Vedic Vakyas making us realize our own self are totally different. Yahi chodana dharmasya lakshanam sa swavishe niyujjana eva purusham avabodhayati. See, the Vedas tell us, do this thing, it will give you good result. Then it is giving us that consciousness and making us do that thing. So vishe niyunjana eva. If Vedas tell us do this work, you will get good result. then it gives us knowledge of that work and it makes us do that work. That is Dharma Chodana. The teachings of the Karma Kanda are such that they will give us knowledge about that and they will make us do that. So we say Niyonjana. Brahma Chodana tu Purushasya avabodhayati eva kevalam. But the sentences relating to Vedanta, but the sentences relating to our own real nature will only arouse the consciousness. Avabodhasya Chodana Janyatvat. That very sentence will generate that consciousness in us. Now, Purusha avabodhe niyojyate. It will not say, do that. If suppose there is darkness, as soon as light is put, my eyes fall upon the screen, then somebody does not require me to see, look at that screen. So, the Vedanta Vakyas have the power to arouse consciousness in me. It does not ask me to realize God. It does not ask me to do something. Same example is giving. Yatha aksha artha sannikarshena artha avabodhe tattva. Artha means an object. Aksha means our eyes. When eyes come in contact with an object, then we know that object. Tasmat, therefore, this is all introductory. Atha does not mean all these things, or that he has discussed. It should go away from our mind. Tasmat, therefore, kimapi vaktavyam yad anantaram brahma jigyasa upadishyati. So then please tell us something in continuation. Atha you are used. So tell us something in continuation of which this Brahma Jigyasa is being taught, Upadishyati. That means that Brahma Jigyasa will be born and it will be, your attempt at fulfillment will go on in continuation with something. Please tell us in continuation of what it will do. That is the question. Uchyate. He says, I am replying now. So, that is what called Atad Nivrutti. That which gets mixed up has to be removed. That which comes wrongly under our mind due to sanskara has to be removed. Then only we will know the real meaning. So he has attempted to remove the mixture of karma and jnana in our mind. And then he says, now I will tell you in continuation of what this jigyasa comes. Uchyate. Nitya anitya vastu ekaha. Iha amutra artha bhoga viraga. Shamadama adi sadhana sampat mukshutvam cha. 4 things, actually we'll find 9 things. Because Adi, this Adi, Shamadama Adi. So Adi will make 4 more things. Shamadama already 2. So this becomes a group of 6. Nitya Nitya Vastu Virak 1. Ihamutra Artha Bhoga Virak 2. Then a group of 6 and Mumuksha. So that becomes 9 in total. Now what he has told, Nitya Anitya Vastu. Let us start this topic next Thursday. We are discussing the word Atha. In Athato Brahma Jigyasa. We are trying to find the meaning by ourselves, that is our method, and then entered Shankar Vashya, and Shankar is explaining the word Atha. Atha is not only Mangal, Mangal will automatically take place. Atha is not after something, Atha is in continuation of something, and this continuation does not relate to karma. Without that karma also, without the knowledge of Vedas also, simply by listening to Vedanta, we'll get that desire. So in continuation of what that desire comes, what is essential, a turn, a jagruti in our life, and we are already on that path, and then only we go to Shastras or the Guru. So, what is that in continuation of which is enumerated Viveka Vairagya, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek, Amutra Artha Bhoga Virag, Shamadama Adi Sadhana Sampat and Mokshutva. We shall try to understand this on the next. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.